Hey, welcome to Good Enough Spanish. Rich B here, and today in the Good Enough Spanish Health series, I'm reviewing an article about how language learning can support your mental health. And I'm really a big believer and advocate in this because, a lot of people, when they think of language learning, they think maybe just picking up a few phrases to go on a trip somewhere. But make no mistake, when you're learning Spanish or any other language, there are massive and significant and proven health benefits that come along with it. I did another video on this Good Enough Spanish Health series about how language learning benefits the brain. So without further ado, let's get right into this article review. Now, this comes from a site called ef.edu. And a little bit about this site. It stands for Education First, latest on travel, languages, and culture. And this site and organization, they have been advocates in the education and language field for over 50 years. So definitely a good resource. So the title of this article is How Language Learning Can Support Your Mental Health. And I am a big believer of that. Some people just think of language learning as something that you just learn a few phrases and that's it. No, this has definite health benefits, physical and mental. Okay, so on this article, let's dig right into it. It says positive mental health is essential to well-being and leading a happy life, a fulfilling life. And I definitely believe that. It enables you to focus at work and study, maintain healthy relationships, and tackle new things with confidence. Okay. I say mental illness is common, unfortunately. Now, with 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. living with it in some form, 1 in 5. That number jumps to around 1 in 3 when looking at young people aged 18 to 25. Now let's read that again. Mental illness is common, with 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. living with it in some form. But that number jumps to around 1 in 3 when looking at young people aged 18 to 25. Now, that's sad. That's sad. And in the past, I've been around for a minute, and in the past, years ago in the past, it was unheard of for young people to be flipping out like this. The mass shootings and the suicide rate and then people just flipping out so young. It's like they haven't even lived, but they're flipping out. And this is no longer an isolated incident, especially in the U.S. with all these mass shootings and stuff. It's an issue it's an elephant in the room that everybody needs to accept that this is the way that the world has evolved, particularly the U.S. It's been a downward spiral in a lot of ways. And a lot of young people are just feeling the pressure in a way that can't always be explained. But in this world with AI and so many other moving things, the whole culture has changed, and it's just causing some people to flip out for whatever reason. Young people, particularly. Okay, let's move on. Now, we know that things such as exercise, quality sleep, socialization, and healthy eating are all ways to promote positive mental health. But did you know that language learning can also give your mental health a regular dose of positive energy? And that is definitely true. You get that boost of positive energy. Just when you're learning a language, it's like an invigorating mental workout. You know how you go to the gym and you may not even feel like going to the gym at first, but once you get through with it, it's like an invigorating feeling. That's how language learning is. You might not want to practice or might struggle through it for a little bit, but then after you finish, it's that great sense of vigor and confidence and exhilaration that flows through you. Okay, that's what they're talking about here. Okay. Also, I want to talk about this thing right here, socialization. Now, that's another thing that has changed over the years. Social media, it's like a double-edged sword. In the past, there wasn't social media. Social media is a relatively new thing over the past decade or so, where it's really been on the rise. So in the grand scheme of things, it's relatively new, but it changes the culture of how people interact with each other. Now people can have thousands of friends online, maybe even millions, but in real life they're isolated, they're alone, they're lonely, they're out of touch. And I think that is also contributing to some people flipping out, especially some of these young people stepping into the world with all of this massive signals and information is coming in at rapid speed, like unprecedented speed, like never before. Like past generations didn't have to deal with this. But now it's like they've been born into this digital age, and that's a lot of pressure on some people. In the socialization issue, with this fake social media getting faker by the day, that's something to think about. That could be a leading problem in all of this mental health thing. Let me know in the comments what you think. But anyway, I digress. Now moving on. They're going to say, let's take a look at how language learning can support your mental health. Okay. Now, boost your brain health. They say researchers have found that speaking a second language can actually increase your brain size. Now, I did an article review from Cambridge University on this channel too, so went in depth about that. So you definitely want to go back and read that after this video, or go back and watch that after this video. It really goes into depth about that. Now, being able to speak two languages can help you focus and filter out irrelevant information. Let's read that again. Being able to speak two languages can help you focus and filter out irrelevant information. And there's so much irrelevant information going on these days that people need some focus. And language learning is definitely a good way to spend your time, instead of just always connected, always looking at your phone, always looking at mindless videos and cat videos and just all these shorts and stuff. Hell, that'll drive you crazy right there. You look at shorts all day, you'd be walking around numb, and not even know it. It's too much. It's too much. Okay? Is there such thing as too much? Okay. They say a great tool when it comes to reducing anxiety. Okay, so filtering out that irrelevant information is a great tool when it comes to reducing anxiety. Language learning is. Now, switching between languages makes your brain more flexible and more able to prioritize easily. I can definitely attest to this, because when I was just monolingual, just knew only one language, English, I had no idea what learning a second language like Spanish would do for my brain. Just being able to switch from English and then put on my Spanish brain back to my English brain. That's a workout. That's a mental workout that increases the neurons in your brain, the signals, the energy in your brain. Those neurons firing off, those connections that just makes your brain a more powerful organ that it is. Even with AI, the brain, the human brain, is still the most powerful organ in the world, I believe. Okay, it may not be the fastest, maybe not be as fast as AI and stuff like that, but as far as more powerful. I'm thinking nothing trumps the human brain, the human mind. So speaking, listening, and responding in another language really gets your brain cells firing, like I said, leading to increased neural connections and improved overall brain health. So if you haven't guessed, you can tell this is something I'm into, something I'm passionate about, because I can definitely say how language learning a second language like Spanish, has greatly impacted my life in a positive way, drastically changed my life in a positive way. So they go on to say, find a state of flow, that flow state. Studies have found that achieving a state of flow is a big driver of happiness. So entering a state of flow occurs when you are so engrossed in something that everything else melts away and time flies by. So in the short term, flow produces positive emotions, something we all need in this day and age, while long-term benefits can help you live a happier, more satisfying life. So you see that language learning has short-term as well as long-term benefits. It goes far beyond just learning a few phrases because you want to travel to Latin America. This is deep. Language learning is one of the best medicines, mental benefits, mental medicines, mental vitamins for your brain. Now, the key is finding a sweet spot between challenging yourself to improve and using your existing skills, they say. So if the task is too easy or too challenging, you won't find your rhythm. Okay. So learning a language is a great way to find flow. With so many language courses, books, podcasts, and native speakers, you're never going to run out of a new challenge to immerse yourself in. Plus, it's easy to track your improvement and continually build on your existing skills. Hey, there's no secret that there's no end, no shortage of language learning apps, Spanish learning apps, courses, videos, whatever, all over the web, and not counting off the web, okay? So there's sources everywhere. But if that was all to it, then everybody would know at least another language, especially people from the U.S. But the truth is, they don't. So more information is not necessarily the answer. You got to focus. And I speak more about that in my videos on this channel. So be sure to watch them, watch the playlist, let them run through your head, let the message grind, because I don't put out any junk on this channel. Everything is here to benefit you and me. Okay? We're in this together. Let's go on, see what they say about social connections. Okay, social connections is the key to overcoming feelings of isolation and loneliness, which can be detrimental to mental health. Like I said earlier, they say learning a new language opens you up to a whole new world of socializing. You can meet people with similar interests in language classes, find a conversation exchange partner, or make a new friend from around the world, or a study abroad trip. Definitely true. Definitely true. It adds a whole new level to your social life, opens up your social life, opens up your friendship options, opens up your dating options, opens up your social options as a whole. It opens up your world. So language learning is very beneficial. It is not a waste of time, especially learning a language like Spanish, which is so broadly used across the world and in the U.S. And I go on to say, plus, with your new language, think of the millions of people you can now communicate with. That's true. Just increases your options for a better life. And that's what we all want, isn't it? Improve your confidence. When you're feeling down, chances are your confidence is low and everything feels just too hard. Language learning is a fantastic way to overcome this negative state. Even just learning a few phrases in the new language proves that you are capable. Listen to that. Even just learning a few phrases in a new language proves that you are capable. Okay? A lot of people, they think they have to make leaps and bounds in their language learning like really fast. Everybody wants things instantly. Well, let me tell you, language learning is a journey, not a destination. It's a process. I've been speaking English, my native tongue, like for years, and I'm still learning and improving English like every single day. It don't stop. So don't think that you can just jump in learning a new language, second language like Spanish, and you think you're going to be Speedy Gonzalez on the first couple of weeks. It's a process. A lot of things that a lot of people don't expect in this day and age of instant gratification. But you can still have instant and long-term gratifications if you celebrate the small wins. You have to learn how to celebrate the small wins. And they'll just add up and build up over time. Which I always preach on this channel, learn language in chunks, little by little. I don't care if it's just a little bit every day. It adds up. It adds up and it builds up, just like weight gain. If you want to watch that video too, that's another good video I made on this channel for you to check out. So check it out. Good Enough Spanish. And they say, and when you're ready, holding a conversation with someone in a foreign language is guaranteed to be a huge boost to your self-esteem. Man, they're hitting the nail on the head because I know how that feels. I know how it feels when I didn't know Spanish, and I know how it feels now when I do know Spanish. And believe me, it is definitely a difference. It's not the same as being on your translator, having to translate every little simple phrase, every little word, because you don't know what the other person's saying. That's not the same as being able to sit there and have a direct, eye-to-eye conversation with someone in their native language, in Spanish, and be able to understand and communicate back and forth. You want confidence and self-esteem, that'll boost it. That'll boost it. Believe me. Now, I wasn't someone with low confidence or self-esteem to start with, but I can tell you after learning Spanish, it took it to a whole nother level. Okay. Now I'm traveling around Latin America like a boss. You know, I've been all over Latin America, solo traveling. Places like Colombia, Ecuador, Panama, Mexico, Chile, you name it. I've been to these places solo. And I tell you, there would be no way in hell that I would ever would even try that in the past if I didn't know no Spanish. So I'm definitely living proof that learning Spanish has greatly benefited my life. And that's why I advocate it so much. That's why I'm so passionate about it. And I want to help you learn too. So remember to subscribe to this channel, like the video if you're getting value. Also, that sends a signal to these platforms and these algorithms to let the algorithm know that this is not junk. This is something that needs to be heard, especially when it comes to language learning and mental health benefits. Now, it goes on to say cultural understanding. Sometimes the news can make it seem like the world is all doom and gloom. Immersing yourself in a new language and its culture can broaden your perspective and increase your empathy towards others. It will help you better understand and relate to others and help you see the world from another point of view. Understand and caring pave the way to connection. That's especially true in this global world that we're living in. You know, a lot of people, especially from the U.S., and I'm from the U.S., I know, but a lot of people from the U.S., they live in this bubble thinking that this is the only way people live. This is the only option. This is the only way people live. And it's just not true. And oftentimes, sadly, people from the U.S. that take that attitude over to other countries they visit. Oh, everybody needs to speak to them in English. Oh, they expect everything in a certain way. Oh, everybody else is the foreigner. No, when you're in another country, you are the foreigner, not them. See, okay. When you're in another country, their language becomes the precedent. Okay, you got to get on their level. Don't expect them to just know English and cater to you. You need to at least try to learn some of their language too. I mean, just imagine somebody coming to the U.S. and they just expecting you to cater to them in their language. You wouldn't like that either. No, if you come in here and this is our language, then put some effort into learning our language. It's the same thing. But again, a lot of U.S. citizens, they go to these other countries, Latin America, wherever, and they think everything is supposed to be just laid out and catered for the U.S. citizen. Nah, player, play it. It ain't like that. For real. So yeah, builds connection, builds understanding and empathy. Really, I believe that language learning and travel is a good medicine to help heal the world. Help put yourself in somebody else's shoes and help connect. I really do. They say get that helper's high feeling by helping someone learn your native language. Consider meeting another language learner who speaks your target language and forming a language exchange. It's pretty simple. Half the time you both speak in your native language. Let's say it's English. And they say they get to practice their English. Then for the second half, you can switch to their native language. And you get to practice. Okay. Now you'll feel great helping someone else improve their language skills while simultaneously improving yours. I do this a lot on language exchanges. I have a video about my experience at language exchanges too. But every now and then I find a good one. I'm talking about more so in-person language exchanges when I travel. A lot of them not that beneficial, but I've learned to squeeze out value in basically any of them by taking more control of the direction of the language exchange, because a lot of these language exchanges, they don't really have that much direction. But I'll let you watch that video on your own time. Be sure to search it in the channel. But oftentimes I'll use that technique too, where I'm crosstalk, so to say. So I may talk to them in their language and maybe they'll respond I may talk to them in Spanish, maybe they'll respond in English, then vice versa. I'll talk in English and they'll respond in Spanish. So I crosstalk, or maybe we just isolate 5 minutes to just talk in English, then switch over 5 minutes to talk in Spanish. That way it's not lopsided. It's not one-sided like a lot of these language exchanges. We're both getting in some reps. Okay, so definitely agree with them on this concept. And positive distractions. Language learning offers a great healthy distraction from negative thoughts and stress. And with all the distractions, the commercials, the ads, the news, the depressing issues that we all are bombarded with every day, that can make anybody flip out. So we need that healthy distraction. And don't get me started on the shorts. It's just ridiculous. That can numb your mind right there looking at all those shorts. Whatever. And they say it allows you to focus on a positive activities away from social media, doom scrolling, or day-to-day frustrations, and work on something challenging yet enjoyable. Doom scrolling. You wonder why people flipping out, especially young people. That could have something to do with it. And we didn't have to grow up in this in the past. A lot of us older people who've been living a while, we know that how it was not to grow up with this internet age, but they don't. So that's a lot to cope with coming into this. And maybe a lot of them just can't cope. Maybe they're looking at it, picking in this, and like, this what I have to take the wheel on. This what I've been left with. I have to take this over. I have to drive the world forward with this. I'm out. And a lot of them checking out. Even ones we think wouldn't be. So, again, it's an issue. Especially with these mass shootings. It's an issue. It ain't just an isolated issue anymore. It's becoming a sad epidemic in the U.S. And we need to look at a spade as a spade now. It's an issue. Like the late, great Marvin Gaye said, his words ring true still today. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Okay. But I digress. Okay. So you're the doom scrolling. And they say if you don't feel up for coursework, simply watching a TV show or listening to music or podcasts in your target language is a great way to learn while allowing your mind to refocus. Definitely agree. There are so many options. There's no excuse to be blind and ignorant, not to at least know a second language in this global world that we're living in. You got so many tools at your disposal. Don't tell me you don't have time. You have time. You have time to get something in. You can get some reps in, even if this is like they said. If you don't fill up the coursework, you're simply watching a TV show or listening to music or podcasts in your target language is a great way to learn while allowing your mind to refocus. All you got to do is change out some usual habits that you have and replace it with some positive language learning habits. Y'all just say maybe your favorite movie that you watch in English, watch it in Spanish. Okay? Your favorite talk show or whatever, watch it in Spanish. That music. Maybe you listen to music all day. Switch it over to some Spanish music. You may not understand everything, at least not at first, but you're getting something in. And believe me, the brain is so complex. It's a powerful, don't underestimate it. It's processing all of that stuff in your subconscious, in the background, even unconsciously. Even while you sleep, the brain is always working. So it adds up. It adds up. Okay. So yeah, that's the article of the day, article review from the day, courtesy of Education First. How language learning can support your mental health. I found this article very interesting, very insightful. If you like this article too, and you appreciate the video commentary, do me a favor and reach out and smash that like button. Also be sure to subscribe because you don't want to miss a thing. And as always, remember, you don't have to be perfect. Just be good enough.